Just be quiet.
Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. I know y'all could tell by the title what this video is about, and if you've been following my pregnancy journey, then you would know that there was a possibility that something was wrong. Stop taking that from him.
Why?
Can I film this video, please?
Yeah.
Y'all excuse my kids, but I'm in the bed and I got them in the bed because I'm in pain. Okay, so where we left off was the day, which was Friday the 23rd, where I went to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room at like 12 something in the afternoon because by then bleeding from the previous day had kind of picked up. And I had, like a clot or two. It wasn't nothing major, but I was like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I took a shower. My niece was here, so I left my kids. And I went to the emergency room thinking everything was going to be okay.
And Joe's
Baby J, can I tell the story? Because you wasn't there. Yeah, thinking everything was going to be okay. So I went to the emergency room. They was like, can you go to your OBGYN because there's a long wait. I'm like, I already called my OBGYN. They told me to come to emergency because they don't have an ultrasound tech on site today. So here we are. They're like, okay, well, there's going to be a long wait. I'm like, well, I got to do what I got to do. If I got to wait, I got to wait. So eventually, they called me back, take my vitals, all that stuff. I wait a little bit. Then by 3 something, I get an ultrasound. Now, I know that when you go to the emergency room and stuff, when you get an ultrasound, they're not going to tell you nothing. Okay, I'm trying to tell a story. Don't come being loud and stuff. Y'all, I'm trying to tell a story. So, I get my ultrasound. I take off my clothes from the waist down. Of course, the screen is turned away from me. They're pressing on my stomach. And I could kind of tell that something was wrong because she was pressing on my stomach kind of hard as if she was trying to find something. But I didn't ask no question. There was 2 of them in there. So she's pressing, moving it all around there, talking and stuff. I'm trying to gauge, like, look at their eyes and stuff, but by them having on a mask, it was hard to see, like, facial expressions and stuff. But I could kind of tell that something wasn't right. And so, they asked me, they're like, have you ever had any issues or history with cyst or fibroid? I'm like, when I was pregnant with my second child, I had a cyst, but I never fibroids or something. So in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe it's just maybe it's a fibroid or a cyst that's causing the bleeding, and my baby is okay. So they doing everything that they need to do or whatever. And she was like, have you ever had a transvaginal ultrasound? And I'm like, no. And she's like, do you mind if we do one? I'm like, fine, But I know by now, when I went to the doctor, I should have been 11 weeks, 6 days. So therefore, you should have been able to see whatever you needed to see on top of my stomach. I should have needed a transvaginal ultrasound. But I said, okay. She goes in there, she's moving it around, pressing, saying everything they need to say, taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. Then they call in the doctor. The doctor comes in because they having a hard time seeing stuff. And Josh, can I tell my story, please? So the doctors is having a hard time. She's pressing and stuff is starting to hurt and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I know something ain't right. By that time, I pretty much knew that something wasn't right. And so she asked me the same question. You have a history with fibroids or cysts? So I'm like, that's the second time that I've been asked that. Maybe I'm holding on to a little hope. I'm like, maybe, what? Sit down. No, sit down. I'm like, maybe, it's the fibroid or a cyst that's causing the bleed, and then the baby's okay. So I go out to the waiting room. Other people's in there crying, screaming and stuff because they're in pain. And it's just taking forever. I go to the bathroom. I wipe. Oh my God, now it's blood and clots. I'm like, oh my God. This can't be happening. Please, God. So I'm starting to, please let them hurry up. There may be something that they can do. If it's not that serious, if it's a fibroid, maybe they can do something to stop the bleeding and my baby could be okay. Just praying and all that kind of stuff, talking to my family members, keeping them updated and stuff. Time is going on, hours after hours. By this time, I'm starting to bleed heavy. I keep going to the bathroom. I sat down on the toilet and all I heard is a big old plop. And they have the toilets that automatically flush, so I immediately looked between my legs and I just seen big clots of blood and stuff, and then I wiped and I already knew. And I just started crying because at that point I'm like, they can't help me because what could they possibly do? Like at this point I know that I gotta be losing my baby. Ain't no way that this is a fibroid or nothing. So, I cried in the bathroom. So I'll get myself together. I go sit down. I go to the nurses station at the front and I'm like, can you tell them to hurry up and see me? I'm starting to bleed more. They're like, do you need more pads? I'm like, yeah, because at this point I done been there hours and I done ran out of whatever I done brought. So they giving me pads immediately once I put the pad on. It's just soaking through. I went back to the nurse's station like, I need more. They give me more. I start putting on 2 at a time. And all this time I'm sitting in the emergency room, waiting room, miscarrying inside of the waiting room. I'm going to the bathroom. Every time I go to the bathroom and sit down, bloop, 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 bloop. Clots after clots after clots. Blood, tons of blood. And maybe I should put a trigger warning in the beginning or whatever that this is TMI. I was going to put some pictures because I was able to take some pictures of the bleeding, but I don't know if I want to do that or not. And I'm like, I just sat there and cried and I called my family and I'm like, I'm losing my baby. I know I'm miscarrying. And everybody's like, just be optimistic. And I'm like, ain't no way. There's no way I'm having this much blood and this much clots coming out and my baby is okay. So time is going on. They finally stop. They finally call me in and then they're like, we don't, and this is at like 2 in the morning. I've been up there all that time. I've been debating to leave and everything. And I was, telling everybody, hush, Josh. I've been telling everybody, like, maybe I should just leave. But I was holding on to that hope that my baby was probably all right. So I needed to hold on a little longer. And I'm like, as long as you fighting, I'm fighting with you. And I sat there and I was in pain and I'm rocking back and forth. And I'm like, y'all can't give me nothing. And they like, no. They like, no, we can't give you nothing. And I'm sitting in the waiting room and I'm just rocking back and forth because that's kind of easing the pain. Then I'm just, and I went to sleep for a while in the waiting room because that was the only thing that would stop the pain. And I'm just like, and I could just feel the blood coming out, And I'm like, I don't even want to go to the bathroom because I know if I go to the bathroom, what I'm about to see. So I'm just sitting there finally at like 2 something, they're like, the reason why we haven't sent you is because we're waiting for, there's no ultrasound tech here. We're waiting for ultrasound tech. I'm like, I didn't already had an ultrasound. And they're like, you did? Yes, at 3 something, 3 p.m. And it's 2 a.m. And they're like, oh, let me check what about this. They had already took my HCG levels. My HCG levels was at 4,295. By 12 weeks, they should have been way more than that. So we know what's up. So I'm sitting there. They finally called me to the back. And I'm in a room. And it's like 2 or 3 something. And I'm just waiting. And I'm just preparing myself. I'm praying. I'm like, they're going to tell me that I got a fibroid and that's what's causing the bleeding. And they're going to do whatever needs to be doing and it's going to stop the bleeding. And I'm just going to, continue on with my pregnancy. And then she came and she was like, we looked over the ultrasound that you had earlier. And I'm just bracing myself, like I'm just sitting there. Of course I got on my mask and she's like, we didn't find a heartbeat. And I'm like, I figured that. Like in the back of my mind, I knew the way the text was acting and stuff that something wasn't wrong. So I just started crying, of course, and I was just like, I just lost my baby. And then I was just like, I just lost my baby. In my head, I'm like, dang, I just lost my baby. And she was like, when was your last menstrual period? And I'm like, it was such and such date. And I'm like, it's after midnight. I should be 12 weeks. And she's like, okay. She's like, well, we did find a baby. There was a baby in there. And there was a baby and there was a sac, just not a heartbeat. And she's all like, so I'm gonna let you, this is the weekend. She's like, I'm gonna let your doctors decide what they want to do as far as getting the baby out. And I was like, to be honest, the way I've been bleeding all this time and stuff, I know I got rid of the baby already. My body didn't already got rid of the baby. And she's all like, I'm gonna just give you some pain medicine, follow up with your doctors, all this stuff. So she gave me the medication. I met a nice nurse. She prayed with me and prayed for me. And when she told me, that the baby didn't have a heartbeat, at that point, I mean, they can tell me whatever. I started asking questions. I'm like, what was the baby measuring? Stop, get that out your mouth. I'm like, what was the baby measuring? And she was like, well, you should have been 12 weeks. And the baby was measuring 6 weeks, 5 days. So basically, I've been carrying around a dead baby for almost 5 weeks. And I don't know if y'all remember, but I kept on saying I'm not having symptoms like this. Pregnancy just didn't feel the same. And the baby basically was already gone. They gave me medication. I went home. I cried. I just bled and bled and bled. It's painful. I just was in pain. It hurts so bad. Physically and like mentally. Like I keep on like replaying the moments in my head. Like, could I have did anything differently? Or like what went wrong? Like I'm blaming myself. Like, should I have been doing certain things? Like just everything that goes through your mind. My family, been supportive of me and the boys and stuff. But I just been trying to get through it. But it's so painful. I went to my doctor's appointment today. I had my ultrasound. There's nothing left in me but one little piece of tissue. There's a piece of tissue that's still left in me, so I have to take Cytotec. And I just took some Cytotec a couple hours ago, and my stomach is starting to cramp and stuff. And I have to get it out, otherwise I'm going to, you know, end up needing a DNC or whatever. As long as this piece of tissue's in me, I'm going to keep on having pregnancy symptoms and stuff, because my breast and stuff is still hurting. But I didn't know if I wanted to tell y'all, but y'all been following this journey with me all this time through every pregnancy, my first, my second, and now my third. I just didn't expect it to end like this, and I'm so hurt. And I don't know like what. I just feel so empty. I never thought, I mean, I've watched miscarriage videos all the time. Get that out your mouth. And I never thought that I would become 1 in 4. I never thought that, you know, this would be my reality, me losing a baby. And I don't care how small the baby was. Like, it was a part of me that was my baby. And I'm just hurting, and I just feel so bad. And it feels just as bad as if it was one of my boys that's already alive. Like, I don't care. Like, that baby was inside of me. That baby was growing inside of me. That was my baby, and I lost it. And I'm just hurting, and I just lay here and I just cry thinking about what my baby could have been. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, like, you know, I did a sneak peek. It was supposed to be a boy. Another boy, I know. But I don't even know if that was the case, because my baby was already passed away, so I don't know if Sneak Peek picked up on my previous baby's DNA, which was a boy, and I was only 9 months postpartum at the time, so I really don't know if it was a boy or not. But, you know, we just going by what Sneak Peek said. I guess I was supposed to be having a boy, and I just feel so guilty, because I was having a little gender disappointment and everything, because I really wanted a girl. And I just feel like, was he taken from me because I was ungrateful or what? But I don't want this video to be too long. I don't know what to say. I just feel so empty inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I'm gonna take y'all on the journey. I'm gonna take y'all on the journey of, you know, me getting the rest of it out, like my doctor's appointments after this, and y'all continue to see my other 2 boys grow. And I love y'all, and thanks for the support, and I'll see y'all in the next video.